Every flower has a story of love, celebration, prayers, new beginnings, and moments we never want to forget. My guest today specializes in delicately pressing and framing flowers to preserve those special moments. Many of you already know her through her Instagram page Enthera, which has been quietly and steadily gaining so much love and attention. From wedding bouquet to gifts from loved ones and keepsakes from special moments, Enthera turns them into timeless art pieces that you can cherish forever. Today we are going to talk not just about the craft, but the heart, the journey, and the person behind it. So stay with us as we dive into Mary's story, the story of Enthera. Welcome, Mary. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, Mary, let us start from the beginning. Mary, for those hearing about Enthera for the first time, how would you describe it in your own words? Or what is the meaning behind the name Enthera?
Okay, so in simple terms, Anthera is dried flower art. Anthera, I belong to the Lotha community. So Thera is flower in Lotha.
Okay.
And N, A and N are the initials of my parents. Okay, A is the initial of my mom's. Then N is my dad's and N is my title. So
Okay.
when I started Anthera, I wanted a name that had some meaning. So N because I wanted to sort of dedicate or honor my parents through the thing I do. And yeah, when I started Anthera, it was basically dried flower art, but in the process, I think I've realized that Anthera is more than dried flower art. Through Anthera, I've discovered my love for videography. I've discovered my love for storytelling.
Okay.
And also, this has become like a medium for God to speak to me. And as we continue the conversation, I think we'll dive deeper into the things that God has been doing in my life through Anthera.
Okay, I'm actually excited about this and I'm looking forward to the conversation. So I want to ask you, where did the idea to start Enthera came from? Was it something you have planned for a long time, or was there any specific moment that inspired Enthera?
Okay, so there is no specific moment when I started Anthera, but this was something actually my mom reminded me some days ago. So she was telling me how a lot of business started during lockdown. And she was telling me how even your flower art started during lockdown.
Okay.
So post-lockdown actually, 2021, I was like at my worst physical, mental, spiritual state, okay? And then I needed to like start taking care of myself, right?
Okay.
So I started going for walks, and then every evening, morning, I go for walk, I go for run, and I would see like random, like really pretty flowers and plants on the way. So I'll just pick them and start drying them. And actually, this is a little long story. Okay, I'll just share.
Yeah, please.
So 2021 was my worst mental, physical, like I said, spiritual state. And at that time, I remember that pain was too much, so I would go to God every day on my knees. I would pray to Him, like, heal me, heal me. And for me, like, I was begging God to heal me right now, because it just felt so heavy, right? And then I realized, like, I've been praying for months and there was no answer. The pain was still so heavy.
Okay.
And I think over time I got used to it, and I forgot the prayer as well. And I decided that I cannot stay like that. I have to start taking care of myself. I was gaining so much weight. My spiritual life was dead. My mental, emotional state was at my lowest.
Okay.
And I decided to distract myself. So I started painting, which didn't work.
Okay.
I went back to learning violin again. I failed. And then the flowers that I was collecting, the plants I was collecting on my walks, those were dried and I kept it in a box, okay? And then around that time, I got COVID. And I had to quarantine for 14 days.
Okay.
So I was like, I've read all the books that I had, watched all the videos, and it was too much, right? It's just me in that room. So I was just reminded of the flowers that I dried. So I think I asked my mother to get me some frames. And then she got me 5 frames, okay, I remember. And I was there in the
Okay.
room and I started printing some quotes, and I would cut it off like scraps sort of, and then put the flowers, and then framed it, and then I sold my first 5 frames to my mom and her sisters, and they bought it and they really appreciated it. And sometimes I still think like they're still so biased because I think maybe they want to encourage me and their love for me. And that really encouraged me, and I thought like, I think this is not bad now. And then on February 3rd, 2022, I just, hearing the comments from them, I was like, let me just make an Instagram page and post it. And the rest is history.
Okay.
So I didn't think, or there was no specific moment.
Yeah.
It just started.
Okay. You still seem to remember the exact date when you made it. I mean, like, so 3rd Feb 2022 is the day you made your Instagram page, or what is it?
Instagram page.
Okay. Wow.
Actually, I just checked
Okay.
some time ago.
Beautiful. Only God can turn a mess into a message, right? So beautiful to know about this. Can I also ask you this? What is the emotional aspect behind turning flowers and wedding bouquets into keepsakes? No, what does that mean to you personally?
As I said in the beginning, like God has been using this art to speak to me, right? So when I started N-Therapy, it was just, I said I wanted distraction, but in the process, like a lot of like dimensions that I did not think of, God has opened, and bridal work was one of that. So one day I remember sharing it with one of my uncle. The idea of like working on brides, flower would be so interesting. And then I never prayed about it, or I never like asked God that this is what I want to do. But I think God knew the desires in my heart. And one of my first client just approached me because she saw one of my art in a cafe. And then one happened, another saw, another happened, and then today I just went and casually counted, and then I've worked with around 34 or more brides, and I know more are yet to come. And I think it's very special because I think that's the most special day for a woman, right? Your wedding, and flowers is such an important part of your wedding, and the idea of preserving it and having it framed in your house. Wedding, like we said, it's so special, and marriages are not easy, right? There'll be good days and there'll be bad days. So I just think sometimes, like, I hope my frames that they hang it on their room when they're having bad days or they're having fights, like may it remind them of the day that they promised in front of God and the people of the story, or how God brought them
That
together.
is so beautiful. Wow. So it was a lockdown project, right?
Yeah.
So can I say you started it as a hobby, or like do you do full time now? Is it your full time work now, or what is it now?
No. I never intended N-Terra to be a commercial business. It is still very it was and it is still very personal. I don't actually make art and sell it, okay? I only work with flowers they send me to preserve it for them. It is, and I think will still be a passion or a hobby.
Okay. Can I say it is your calling, your purpose?
Yes, I'd like to say. I'd like to think so.
So you have talked about you have mentioned the number of clients that you have worked with as well, right?
Yeah.
So can you walk us through what happens from the moment a client contacts you to the final product delivery? So can you tell us from the time the flowers arrive to the final frame piece, what goes behind the scene?
Most of the brides that bring their give me their bouquet, mostly they prefer to come personally and give it to me. So most of the time they'll come, we sit and we chit chat, and I never ask them, but somehow like they would come and like some of them would tell me their story, like from beginning to how it led to the wedding. And I think it makes it more personal because every time I'm making the flower, I keep them in mind, the story in mind. So the flowers will come. If it's natural flower, it takes like 2 to 3 weeks. Artificial flowers will take lesser time. So after it's pressed, the whole process of drying and framing the flowers, I'm in touch with the brides. So after it's dried, sometimes I go deliver the frames myself. Like recently I went to Tsemenu to deliver one frame. So a lot of them have become my friends. Like I said, God has been opening doors through N-Terra, right? Some of them, I've seen them become mothers already. Some during their courting days, the flowers that I dried, I saw them get married. Some of those weddings I've attended. Some of my brides are like, they've become mothers, like I said. So that's the whole process of, and a lot of friendship has developed through this process as well.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Who decides the final design? Like, do you follow your instinct? You give suggestions, or your clients, or you tend to get to know the client, and on the basis of that, you design the frames and stuff like that?
So it's interesting. For me, every time a bride comes with their flower, they don't have any like make it this way or that way. Really, I think maybe one or two comes with a set of like idea, like do it this way or that way. Besides that, they just trust me. And I just trust my instinct. So I never pre-plan. So all the flowers that I dry are pressed and preserved. They're different. So I'll just lay it down and see whatever speaks to me and just arrange it likewise.
Okay, when you look back at Enterra, do you remember your first client or your first order?
Yeah. My first clients were, like I said, my mom and her sisters, 5 of them.
Yes.
And then the first bride was, I don't know if I should mention her name, but they're very special.
So which part of the pressing and the framing requires the most patience?
The drying process, because I have to make sure that it's not just dried, but then the colors retain, right? And flowers are very delicate, so even if you like touch it a little with a little more pressure than what's required, it can break apart. And even when I press it, it has to be taken care, because it can go like haywire if you're not careful. So pressing and drying could be like the most.
All right. So Mary, has there been a client story that has touched you deeply, or made you feel like this is why I do this?
Okay, I'm just reminded of a client. Okay, so she found a man that she fell in love with. Now they're engaged and about to get married. Okay. So the first flower that her boyfriend gave her, it's so special, right? Because it's the first flower she got, and the first birthday that she celebrated after they dated was a red rose, and the first flower that she got was a yellow chrysanthemum. So mums are very delicate. So I've tried pressing mums in the past, and then I realized that it breaks away. So every time client sends me mums, I tell them like, no, I don't, and it's not possible. So I just tell them you can just sun dry it and keep it in a box. But since the client said, please, somehow like she wants both merged together. And then when I received the flowers, I was like, red roses are like deep red, and then the mums she sent me was like deep dark yellow. So I looked at both of them and I was like, how am I going to let it work? So I was like, since she requested so much, I had to do something. So I dried the roses, I pressed them, then I just pressed the mums. It was already dried because I think it was like 5-6 months old. So now I was looking at it for like hours, because I was like, how am I supposed to let it work now? And then I was like, no, I'll just arrange it like whatever the outcome. So once I arranged it, I thought maybe a wooden border frame would look better. So once I placed it, like I was so amazed by how beautiful it looked. And then it was not about my work, and just a thought passed me, like how two people fall in love, right? How God brings two people together. Sometimes it's like that, right? We think that how can a yellow chrysanthemum and a red rose get along, right? But then when God brings two people together, like even the most like the thing that we think would not, get along or something, when God brings people like that, it's so beautiful, right? So that was one time I was like, oh my God, like. And when I sent her, she was so like happy about how it worked. But then I was just so blessed, thinking like, I think this is what it just gave me so much peace and happiness.
Wow, so good to hear about this. If you could preserve something other than flowers, like moments or memories, what would you choose?
I can't think of an answer right now.
Okay, I'll ask you another fun question. What's the funniest or most unexpected flower someone has ever brought to you for preservation?
I can't recall. Like, I mean, something that's
Okay.
like odd, sort of.
Okay, fine.
Can't think of.
Okay. One more?
But I can also think of a friend, if I should mention. I don't know. Like, went to some mountains and brought a stone for me as a
Okay.
gift.
Okay.
So, and it was like some crystal stone or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't know about flowers, but I've got a gift like that. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Do you have a personal favorite flower?
Yes.
And why that one?
Hydrangeas. Like,
Okay.
my mom is she loves flowers. No, she loves gardening actually. And then we, ever since I was a child, I remember like our house was full of flowers, and then everyone who would come home would just say how beautiful like our compound is. And the house that we grew up in had like a lot of hydrangeas. It was just full of hydrangeas from the gate to the
Okay.
way to our place. So I think it reminds me so much of the old days home. And now, like, one of my cousins recently was telling me, every time I see hydrangeas I think of you, because you always post and keep writing and keep talking about hydrangeas. So hydrangeas. Yeah.
All right, all right. Let us now go to this segment, serving others through your craft, no? So, the Bible says our lives are like flowers that bloom and fade. So, what does that verse mean to you?
I think one thing is we have to learn to live in the present, right? Like, I dry flowers and I press them, but then nothing like a fresh flower, right? It's the flowers is fresh for in that moment, right? And it is. I think we should also remember that time is fleeting, right? It doesn't wait, and there's a time to bloom, a time to die. And I think another way to look at it is like you were asking me if people have brought like really unexpected flowers or something.
flowers.
So there has been times when people have brought like flowers that are like 1 or maybe 7-8 months old kind of flowers. And then I would not take it on me, but then maybe through the gift of creativity that God has given me, like sometimes it turns out so beautiful. So sometimes I think like how we think that, like you said, a mess into a message, right? We think that the flower is too old and it's all broken, but then God still has a way to fix our lives. I don't know if the question and the answer fits, but that's what I can think of.
Yeah, my next question would have been that only. Sometimes, like you said, flowers arrive already damaged, right? Or sometimes they arrive quite late. So I was about to ask you, how does that reflect how God can still bring beauty out of broken situations in our lives, no?
Yeah.
So
I think I'll give you a reverse answer to that. Like you
Okay.
said, when people bring broken flowers, how do I fix it? Actually, the other way around has happened, okay? And that's like the biggest regret of my life as an artist. So recently a bride brought her flowers, and then it was a beautiful lycanthus, right? And then I took the memos wrong. So she has told me to dry it a certain way, and then of course the end result of how the flowers are not really in my hands. It does depend on how the flower sometimes react to drying. But then I got the memo wrong, and she wanted it in a certain way, and I missed the details she gave me, and then I messed it up. I regret that so much because it was not just any flower, right? It was her bridal flower.
Okay.
And I apologize so much, but I think by the grace of God, like I think the client was like so kind that instead she was comforting me herself. But then Anthera looks so perfect on the outside, but I'm a human, and then I also mess up.
Okay.
And that's a big regret.
Let me also ask you this. Many of your works are linked with weddings, anniversaries, even memorials, right? So, do you ever pray for your clients or their situations?
No, I've not. To be honest, I've not like really prayed for any specific person as such, but I do pray for the flowers because for me, I think some things are not in my hands, and I think this creativity also, like I said, how Anthera started. I still think that it's not something that came out of me. It's something God gifted me.
Okay.
So I just pray sometimes like, God, I don't know, you just guide me, like just bless me, bless my hands, and yeah. So that prayer I pray.
How does it also feel knowing that your work becomes part of people's most emotional and special moments, no? So how does it make you feel?
I think like I said, it's very special. Every time I deliver work and the messages that my clients send me, I always take a screenshot and keep it in my, keep it saved, because I think it's not just about working and delivering it and getting paid. Like it's the emotions, right? And then some of them would give me the flower after I dry it. They would thank me and then tell me the story of why that flowers were so special. So like I said, how Anthera started, and you said a mess into a message. I prayed God for healing, right? I didn't know when, like it was some, I think we're going off the topic, but then since that thought just came to my heart,
Please.
it was somewhere in 2024. I was working on one art, and then I realized like I just had a flashback of how life was in 2021, the season, and I realized like the prayer that I prayed, God did not answer. That was what I was complaining about, right? And 2024, I was working on a flower, and I realized I was like getting better physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And that time I realized like I thought God forgot my prayers. I thought God did not answer my prayers. But then Anthera was through how God was working in me. It gave me identity. It gave me a way to earn. It gave me stories. And through a lot of my clients, my faith has been enriched. So I don't know how much of my answer answers your question, but yeah, I was reminded of that.
Mary, would you like to share how we know each other?
Okay, so we met in 2018, I think. So we were, he was in the engineering college, and I was doing my law at the time. And then we used to go to one fellowship called RUCF. So that's where we met. He was the president of the fellowship, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, so we met at the fellowship, and then I think the friendship started that way. I think it was the fellowship that brought us together as friends. And then I think Chu Chang was the one who asked me if I can serve as the GS in RUCF, and I said no. And he said, just do it, because through RUCF and while you work for the Lord, God will show you different dimensions on how His love and how He works in your life. And I think what he said to me came true. I did get to experience God on a different level when I was working in RUCF.
Okay. Mary, what's life beyond Anthera?
Okay, so I'm a licensed advocate, and then right now I'm working closely with two NGOs. One is Impact Her Nagden, and one is Finding Hope India.
Okay.
And I think I would like to speak more about Impact Her Nagden, because we're very actively working right now. So it's a Lotha women-led NGO.
Okay.
And then the NGO is working closely with the rural women farmers.
Okay.
So most of the members are mothers, okay, and they have families, they have children. Still, like, the need to, like, see, we being educated and privileged, like, what's the use of our education or our religion if you don't use it to uplift people, right? And then rural women are like the backbone of the society, and so we're working closely with them. In a year, we plan 2-3 trips to village. We go stay there. Stay there. We give them workshops on even women health, on legal awareness, the legal rights that are there to protect the women there. And we have had a lot of activities that we have done for rural women in the past, okay, like medical camps, workshop, or like helping them through creating a market. Like the products that we encourage them to bring out something from the village, right? So once they bring out the product, we take it and we create a market here. this NGO started in 2024, and we still have a lot of plans coming up. So yeah, that's one. Finding Hope is focused so much on healthcare for the underprivileged, mental health for underprivileged children, and giving free to very bare minimum cost on healthcare. So these are two places I'm engaged with right now.
So Mary, we are coming to the end of the conversation now. As we close, I'd like to ask you, where do you see Enterra in the next few years, and do you wish for it to become big?
Okay, so just as I told you the story about how I started Enterra, I didn't have any plans, right? I just posted it, and then just like that, I don't have any plans for the future. Even when you asked me about the bridal, I didn't have a plan, right? It just happened. So for me, it's so much of trusting God to lead Enterra. And the question on if I want to make it big, it's no, I don't wish to. And I think I would lose the essence of Enterra if I commercialize it. Because, yeah, I think the essence of Enterra is the personal touch, the stories and the bond that creates in the process of working with my clients. So, I don't know where God will lead me, the future of Enterra. But as of now, I just don't think about it like how to, revamp it or anything like that. Yeah.
As we end this conversation, do you wish to share any significant story?
Actually, yeah. I'm reminded of an incident in 2024. So, see, when I told about my situation in 21 and then the years following, how God healed me, right? So sometimes I think we think that once we come to Christ, that's it, right? Like life is all bed of roses. But then I think as a Christian, it's important to understand the concept of long suffering. You can be with Christ and life can just throw you like stones here and there, right? So it's not always a smooth path being with Christ. There are days when I speak so much about faith, I speak so much about God being with me, but there are days when I question Him, I question where He's leading me. So there was one such incident. This was also in 24. I was just having a lot of questions about my life. Like you said, what is life beyond Enterra, right? Before, I don't see myself being a full-time dried flower artist. I have plans and different visions for my life beyond art. So I had some plans that wasn't working out. I had some ambition and a lot of plans that failed. And I was just sitting back and I was asking God, like, where's my life leading? Like, I'm just everywhere but nowhere, right? And I was just in my room, I was crying, and then I was just questioning God, like, what is it even like? What is my life going to be like? And that time, God reminded me, okay, I would still think that it was God who reminded me of a big white canvas that I bought many months ago. And I just bought it. I just went to the shop and I saw it and I just bought it. And I bought it and I kept it in a corner in my room. And then God just reminded me of the canvas. And I was crying and I was questioning Him. And when I got reminded of the canvas, I just took it out and I kept it in my table. And I keep a small box of dried flower in my room, okay? And those are the collection of like my favorite flowers. So I was reminded of the box, I was reminded of the canvas, and something in my heart just told me, don't think about it, just place whatever flowers you get it. So I'm not thinking I'll place this flower here and there like that, but I was just placing it, and then I think like for maybe over an hour, I was just working on it, adjusting it, pasting it, and then by the end the canvas was full. Like I was in tears because I saw it and then it was so beautiful, like not praising myself, but then the art looked so beautiful, so majestic, if I can say. The flowers were all so vibrant, and I never noticed, and I never opened the box to see my flowers, okay? But that day I realized like how beautiful everything was, and that time like God planted a thought in my heart, okay? This is what happens when you come to me, right? Like sometimes we just have to go to God like the blank white canvas. We just have to empty ourselves and go to Him. And instead of us working, I'm reminded of a verse, right? Exodus 33:14, I think. My presence will go with you and I'll give you rest, right? So we have to be at the place of rest and empty ourselves and go to God and let Him work for us sometimes. And the thought just came to me. This is what happens when you come to me. Like, I'll make your life so beautiful, right? You can't even imagine. And as we're ending this, like I said, I asked for healing, and God gave me Entera. I asked for healing, but not just healing. He gave me identity through Entera. He gave me some kind of popularity, I would say, because I go somewhere and people like now recognize me. Oh, are you Entera? Like something like that. And I got to earn through Entera. I got to meet a lot of friends through Entera. So I think it's like that now. Like sometimes we ask God for something, and I wanted Him to heal me right there and then. But He took His time, and in His time, we say, in His time, everything is so perfect, so beautiful. He didn't just heal me. He brought in finances, He brought in friends, He brought in stories. Yeah.
Wow. What a beautiful way to end the podcast, no?
Yeah.
Mary, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
What you're doing is more than art. It's touching people's life. And I know Entera is just getting started, no? To everyone watching, please support her work by following her Instagram page, Entera. Thank you for being part of this episode. See you in the next one. God bless you.